Aswatuna Podcast. Our voices, our identities.
أوها بديار رماني، أوها حلوة ملفاني، أوها حلفنا ما نقطفها، أوها لعز شفاء بالسلامة.
Let's talk about climate change. People are calling it the crisis of our time, and it is.
Climate change.
The climate issue, Tabarak, is one of the severe and significant problems we can see as a highlight or substantial interest in our countries. On the country, you may find it to be one of the most marginalized problems that unfortunately doesn't receive much attention.
Indeed, we all know a climate problem is affecting the world in general and the Arab world particularly, but we still don't focus and talk about it. We can hear and know of terms like global warming, water problem, and food waste, but we don't go deeply into them. At the same time, as an Arab country, what are the most crucial climate problems facing our countries? And are they bigger problems? And the most importantly, is there any hope to solve them?
I am Mansuf Mansouri from Libya.
And I am Tabarak Zubaidi from Iraq. Welcome to the first episode of Aswatuna Podcast.
Firstly, this episode will be a series of episodes that will include various topics from climate to gender to other essential and influential issues that have to do with our life.
I would like to add that these episodes will be uploaded on social media and podcast socials such as Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcast, and Deezer.
Today we will try to speak of the importance of the climate problem through this episode, and we will have guests from different Arab countries to hear about the other issue relating to climate in their countries. But before that, Tabarak, what are the most climate-related problems that you see in Iraq?
Honestly, Mansuf, I was really surprised at the number of climate problems facing Iraq when I researched and looked at the information. As a follow-up, I read an interview with the Iraqi Minister of Water Resources on a climate problem in the country. He said that water shortage problems have been ongoing for years, primarily because of the scarcity of rain and the dams with the neighboring countries. Rainwater accounts for 42 to 49% of river water, which has dramatically affected the water in the country. He also pointed out the effect of climate that could negatively impact the country and the region. He also pointed out the effect of climate that could negatively affected the country and the region's social, political, and economical issue due to internal immigration and lack of the reliance of agriculture, and because they are all linked together. During the research, I also noticed the issue of food waste, which is of the two types, one before it reached the consumer and one after. Imagine, Mansuf, Iraq comes in the second place among the Arab countries when it comes to the food waste, at a rate of 4.73 million tons. It was really surprising information for me. What do you think, Mansuf?
The problem of water shortage is a huge problem, and its danger will be seen later on in Libya. We will suffer from this problem in the future, which could be a real crisis, because now we are mainly relying on the groundwater that's currently available in abundance and is considered a strategic stock for the state. But this water's fate will end in the future, and we will have a big problem relating to the water shortage, especially when the official authorities haven't prepared ways to solve this crisis. The citizens continues to waste water in large amounts. If you come to Libya, Tabarak, you will find us wasting water abnormally, whether it's in agriculture irrigation, which consumes quantities of water, or in our excessive consumption of water in our daily lives.
You and I now agree on a joint and vital issue that Libya and Iraq suffer from. But if we think about the other countries and their problems, could they face a situation like the one we are? For example, what do you think we hear a viewpoint from Morocco?
Let's hear it.
I am Hajar from Morocco, and I'm 24 years old. I work as a podcaster and an English teacher. The most critical environmental problems that Morocco suffers from are the scarcity of water and pollution of all kinds. But the most critical issue is waste management, especially plastic. It is correct that Morocco has come a long way in this field, where it stopped plastic manufacturing and consumption, definitely in 2016, under the slogan of Zero Mica. However, it is still seen in the streets as plastic bottles, plastic dishes, and spoons. As for me, I believe the solution is raising awareness through audio and visual programs that teach people from a young and early age the importance of keeping the environment safe, and that we change our daily routines and adopt environmentally friendly alternatives. Each one of us has to be part of this responsibility. We are all responsible.
The issue of plastic cans and keeping the environment clean is one of the critical problems. But is Hajar the only one who thinks of this issue? Or is there anyone else from the Arab countries that shares the same opinion as to her? Let's hear our friend Saeed from Oman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Saeed Saadi from Sultanate of Oman. I used to work as a project management specialist. Now I have my own company. And I want to tell you that among the environmental problems that continue to have a negative impact are plastic bags. At the beginning of this year, the government implemented the law banning plastic bags and started to inaugurate the environmentally friendly bags. However, many institutions and supermarkets still use plastic bags, which is a part of the problem. As you know, plastic has a significant effect in our society and environment, especially fauna and flora. One solution is to launch a system of sanctions against the people use plastic bags in institutions and markets that still offer them.
Indeed, this is a suffocating and disturbing crisis that most international countries and Arab countries are facing. Of course, it's great to hear solution for this problem, as well as the situation of neighboring countries that are going through economic and political instability. And does that have an impact on the issues? Let's hear our friend Sharif from Lebanon.
Hello, I am Sharif Tarhini from Lebanon. Lebanon suffers from many environmental problems, and perhaps the most evident problem that has emerged in the recent years is the solid waste problem. In 2015, the landfill stopped receiving waste from Beirut and its suburbs, leading to the transformation of the streets to random garbage dumps. The view of Beirut was terrible at that time. Waste and a foul odor were everywhere. The scene prompted the people to raise their demand for a clean environment, but unfortunately, the problem hasn't been solved yet. They built a new landfill, but the problems will re-emerge again. In my opinion, sorting the problem from its roots is the only solution to this issue, but that isn't easy because it depends on the citizens' awareness. But that is the only solution that will achieve results for Lebanon's future generations and the Arab world.
Clear, accurate, and comprehensive talk about the central issue relating to solid waste and its accumulation, and going back to the roots of the problem and how it started, followed by proposing a solution based heavily on the individual's awareness, as Sharif said. Now it's Egyptian turn, and together we will hear the Egyptian viewpoint. Do we face the same climate issue, or is there anything more that we will listen to?
Hi, this is May from Egypt. I believe wherever you're hearing me right now, you might picture my country in different scenes. One of them most probably will be our history. Recently, Egypt's residents exceeded 100 million. 99% of them are living around the Nile Valley that represents only 4% of Egypt's space. Overpopulation causes many problems. The most famous one is the crowding problem that also causes air pollution, which not only affects human beings' health but also affects our history's sustainability. Many of the historical monuments that occur in downtown Cairo, such as Sultan Hassan Mosque, Sultan Al Ghori Complex, the Citadel, Al Azhar area, and Al Hussein, and most that has been built during Mamluks and Fatimids era, are in danger of damage. You can notice black crust appears on the top parts of outside walls as a result of combustion of carbonaceous gases in an environment of rising humidity. In addition, white crust that appears on the lower sections consequences of these wars. For us, those monuments are our history that we're very keen on. One of the stuff that would solve this problem is the new capital city building that would reduce the pressure of transportation on downtown and would leave some space for our history to breathe.
The environmental air pollution has serious consequences for all health and social issue, as May from Egypt said. It's time to go from the mother of the word Egypt to the happy Yemen, where we might hear a different topic and a new issue facing the climate.
My name is Asil Ihab. I am from Yemen, currently living in Sana'a. What you don't know about Yemen is that this country is geographically and climatically diverse in a very charming way. It has the coast, the plain, the valley, the beach, the desert, the mountain, the cold areas all year long, and hot areas. For example, it's summer right now in Sana'a, and the highest temperature degree is around 28, 29 Celsius. But in areas like Sayoun, it could reach up to 46, 47. One of the problems we have in Sana'a is the lack of relative oxygen, which is unnoticed, but ill people may feel the issue. The government is causing such a problem by not considering agricultural and afforestation policies widely, meaning that the mountains surrounding Sana'a can offer stable spaces to grow trees, but nothing is happening. Reality tells that, in a way or another, the government is not interested in enhancing the environment, not only after war, but even before.
Do you know, Tabarak, that afforestation is very important? Some countries have an annual afforestation policy that they call the green belts around the cities that manage to reduce dust storms and fuel the atmosphere with oxygen, which has a vital role with the presence of factories. I have a question in mind. Is it possible for factories to impact pollution other than air pollution? Let's hear the answer from our guest, Lina from Sudan.
I am Lina Marwan from Sudan. I'm a lawyer and a human rights activist. In my view, a critical problem regarding the environment in Sudan is civil mining for the use of harmful chemicals such as mercury and cyanide that have a short and long-term effect on the environment, agriculture, or even the water which is used for drinking. In the neighboring areas or areas where the process of civil mining is carried out, it is done without supervision and precautions, considering the miners and the residents of the site. And that's a massive problem because civil mining and the use of these harmful chemicals affects the health of the residents, the children, and adults. Many diseases that weren't typical started emerging in the areas of mining. One of the solutions that I think should be considered is imposing government control over civil mining and encouraging government mining through specialized mining companies. Maybe also trying to solve or finding quick solutions for the residents of these areas and working on long-term solutions to possibly keep the residents healthy, I think.
Believe me, Munsaf, I haven't thought of the side effects of the factories this way. It's an intense topic that has many problems. Still, speaking of the problem is half of the solution, and the guys are doing a great job in raising the issue and proposing solutions that we hopefully can discuss in this next section.
Hello, I'm Sadiq and I'm a podcaster from Jordan. I think that the main environmental problems in my country are water shortage mainly and pollution. And I personally believe that the main causing effect is human ignorance. That is, we always ignore the environmental topics and issues because it's easier that way. As well as the lack of education in schools and universities is the main cause people are responsible toward that matter. In my eyes, the solution would be to invest in more environmental programs, especially for younger generations, so they can grow up acquiring proper environmental practices and habits.
You are right, Sadiq. Awareness is an essential part of the solution. As we noticed, one of the essential solutions to most of the environmental problems that our guests brought forward and mentioned was raising awareness. And now, Tabarak, what do we think of giving a summary of today's episode to our listeners? In today's episode, we talked about climate issue, most notably in the Arab countries. We realized that the problems vary from water shortages, waste accumulation, air pollution, food waste, and even industrial pollution.
And talking about the problem is a part of the solution. Because of that, we hear from our guests and their answers to the environmental issues their country are facing. Most of the solution they came up with say that the solution started from the official and authorized parties such as the governments and the administrations. Still, the awareness of people that should be integrated with the educational curriculum for the younger generation completes the solution. It's a small bottle of water, but put it in its designated area will do a lot.
Sure, Tabarak. And what matters here is awareness, as you said, and realize that environmental problems are fundamental problems, not secondary ones. We have to give them attention and present them as an important issue that need solutions.
If you allow me, Munsif, I would like to conclude with a quote that I read and realized how important it is to reflect the importance of the current situation and how severe the impact of the climate issue can be on the future. We are the first generation to feel the impact of the climate change and the last generation that could do something about it. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Aswatuna Podcast, a podcast project that is implemented by the associations Nahostcast and Midost and supported by the German Federal Foreign Office.